This is Angela Huffman at quiltedjoy.com bringing you another video tutorial along with digitechpatterns.com. How do you audition designs for a quilt top? Sometimes I just want to see how a particular digital motif will look on top of a quilt block's seam lines. Today I'm going to show you how to determine which motifs will complement your quilt top. I'll be using the IntelliQuilter system for this tutorial. If you have another quilting system, your steps will be a bit different, but the idea is the same. We are going to be using my Block Outlines digital pattern collection. I've had some people ask me if these patterns are meant to be used to stitch in the ditch for a block, but trying to line everything up with a pieced block would be almost impossible. Instead, these patterns weren't really meant to stitch out, although you certainly could. Instead, they are meant to be used as a quick reference to layer another block motif on top and find the perfect quilting design for the block I'm working with. For this tutorial, let's imagine we have an Ohio Star quilt top and we want to figure out which block motif will complement the patchwork of the block. First, I start at the main menu and select Design Sew Quilt. Start New, Block Pattern. I want to enter the rectangle manually. By the way, auditioning designs is a great thing to do with your tablet on the couch so you can relax and just play. I'm going to enter my block size. In this case, I'll do a 12 by 12. I'll tap Continue and Finished. Now I want to navigate to my block outline catalog that I created from the block outline collection designed by me, Angela Huffman, which you can find available for purchase at both digitechpatterns.com and quiltedjoy.com. I'll tap on the Ohio Star block outline. It will turn red, and then I tap Continue, and I'm going to size it up just a bit to completely fill the space by manually entering 12 inches by 12 inches. Now I'll tap Finished, and I'm back at the Add Edit Pattern screen, where I could bring in the motif I'm auditioning to layer on top of this outline so I can see how the patchwork seams will interact with the design. However, since I know I'll be auditioning a few different motifs, I'm going to give myself multiple Ohio Star blocks to use as a reference. I'm going to tap on Repeat Pattern, and IQ prompts me by saying, select pattern blocks to repeat by touching one of their points. I want to select both the 12 by 12 block acting as a container and the block outline pattern. To do this, I'll tap on the green corner box to select the block. This can be a little tricky since they are sitting on top of each other. The easiest way is to make sure you've got the block selected first. You'll see it turn red. Then I'll tap one of the patchwork seams in the Ohio Star block outline so I know I've got both selected. Tap Continue. Let's do an X repeat of 2 and a Y repeat of 2. Our quilt top has 2-inch sashing strips between the blocks, so let's add 2 inches to our X distance to space out the blocks. I'll enter 14 inches for the X distance and 14 inches for the Y distance. Hit Finished. It's time to bring in our other patterns we want to audition. I'm in the Add Edit Pattern screen. I'll tap on the Add Pattern button. IQ says, select the pattern type you want to add. I want to add a block pattern. IQ says, use an existing block or define a new one. Let's select our first block by tapping on Select and tapping one of the first block's points. Then tap Continue. I need to navigate to the block design I wish to audition. In this case, I have some inside my quiltedjoy.com folder to look through. Let's see how the sprout pattern will look on our patchwork. I'll tap the sprout block to select it and hit Continue. Not bad. I typically like to give myself a little breathing room around the outside edge of my block in case there are some wonky seams, so let's scale down the sprout motif slightly by tapping on Scale and using the minus key to tap, tap, tap. I like it, but I want to audition a different design to choose from. I could just move this sprout block out of the way and bring in a different design, but since we made those extra blocks for reference, we'll just use those. I'm going to hit Continue, Add Pattern, select Block Pattern, select Block, And this time, I'll select the second block, click Continue. Let's navigate to the next pattern to audition, which is one of my Dunbar Moons block motifs. Select it, and it will turn red, then tap on Continue. Again, I'm going to scale it down just a bit to give it some breathing room from the outside edges of the patchwork. What do you think? Let's audition one more design. I could drag this pattern out of the way so I can bring in a different pattern to audition, and this is exactly what I do if I'm quickly trying to decide between only a couple of choices. First, make sure it is red so you know you have it selected. Use the select button if you've accidentally selected a different pattern than you want. Now click on Move and drag the pattern off to the side. Now the block is ready for a different motif. However, we went through the trouble of making multiple audition blocks, so let's undo this move and put the motif back on this block so we can select one of our blank blocks for the next audition. Click on Finished and let's bring in another choice. Click on Add Pattern, Block Pattern, select Block, and pick the next blank Reference Ohio Star outline block. Click Continue, and navigate to the next choice to audition. Select the pattern and it will turn red, then tap on Continue. Let's scale it down a bit, like we did the others, to give us some breathing room around the motif to compensate for piecing variations. Now we see what this choice looks like on the block outline. I like this one better, don't you? Now that I know which pattern motif I can stitch out, I won't be stitching the block outline pattern. That was just used for reference. I think you're going to enjoy the block outlines to quickly lay out common patchwork and narrow down the motifs that will work best in your patchwork. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like Digitech Patterns and Quilted Joy on Facebook to join the conversation. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel so you're notified every time a new video is posted.